type of elements. What is element? Basically, elements is a substance that consists only one kind of atom and cannot be broken down. Some elements can be synthesized by our cells, while others depends on our food intake. Take this milk for example. It consists of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Elements that are required by our body are being called as essential elements.
In general, essential elements in our body are divided into two. The common ones make up about 96% of our body mass, which are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, easily memorized as CHON. They exist in such large quantity as our body contains a lot of water and most substance has carbons. The remaining 4% are calcium, potassium, phosphorus, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. Extra 0.01% of trace elements, namely copper, iodine, and iron. Even in small amounts, these trace elements are still necessary for healthy cells.
If you wonder what happens to all elements in our body, all of them can vary from chemical compounds by a picture show. The chemical compounds in our body can be divided into two categories. Organic compounds contain carbon and can be synthesized by our body cells, while inorganic compounds do not contain carbon and can only be obtained from the external environment, such as the soil. Carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids are organic compounds, while compounds such as water, acid, base, and mineral salts are inorganic compounds as they do not contain carbons. Out of all the compounds, 5 made up to the list of the main chemical compounds in the body. First, carbohydrates contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Next, proteins contain all CHON and an addition of sulfur and phosphorus. Lipids are the same as carbohydrates, as it is also a source of energy. Nucleic acid also contains all CHON and phosphorus. Lastly, water, as we all know, contains hydrogen and oxygen. Going back to elements, most of them exist as ions, such as sodium and magnesium ions. Let's go through the function of the elements one by one. Firstly, CHON is for the synthesis of organic compounds as mentioned before. Sulfur is the component of some proteins. Sodium, in animal cells, regulates osmotic pressure and helps transmitting nerve impulse, while in plant cells, it is not required. Magnesium is involved for protein synthesis, and some enzyme cofactors in animal cells are required for chlorophyll synthesis and enzyme activation in plant cells. Then, calcium helps in strong bone and teeth formation, contraction of muscles, and blood clotting in animal cells, while it maintains semi-permeability of plasma membranes and required in synthesis of cell wall or cellulose. Iron is involved in the synthesis of hemoglobin for oxygen transport and the respiratory enzyme in animal cells, but in plant cells, it is involved in the synthesis of chlorophyll and acts as an electron carrier during photosynthesis. Phosphorus in animal cells helps in strong bone and teeth formation, muscle, contraction synthesis of ATP, and energy carrier, and is an essential component of nucleic acid. In plant cells, it induces flower and seed formation, promotes cell division, and also involved in synthesis of ATP and nucleic acid. Potassium in animal cells are needed for muscle contraction, and like sodium for nerve impulse transmission, while in plant cells, it helps in carbohydrate synthesis and enzyme activation. Lastly, chlorine in animal cells are involved in the synthesis of hydrochloric acid in our stomach for digestion and destroying pathogens, but in plant cells, it is involved in photolysis of water during light reaction of photosynthesis. So, is it too much? Don't worry. As you learn more later, this will all make sense and there is no need to memorize. Just to understand. Thank you.
Oh, hello. Appetite how it be even in consuming number of compounds. Well, most deficiencies have led to major health problems and sometimes even fatal. That is why it is very important to be healthy. Each compound has its own importance. Well, rice doesn't serve as much as fish. That is why knowing your food is important.
As mentioned, the main chemical compounds in the body are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids, and water. Now, carbohydrates. As we all have known since we were 3, is the primary source of energy. It is stored as glycogen in animal cells and starch in plant cells. In addition, cellulose, a type of carbohydrate, is the main constituent of cell wall of plant cells and dietary fibers. Next, we have lipids, a more complex version of carbohydrates. Fats and oils are a type of lipids that are also important sources of energy that provides twice the amount of energy produced by oxidizing glucose. Our body breaks down fat only when we run out of carbohydrates.
Besides that, it also forms adipose tissue underneath the skin for heat insulation against a low temperature. It also provides physical protection for our internal organs. In case if you got punched in the chest, your fat will protect your heart.
Chemically speaking, lipids are also solvents for fat-soluble vitamins, which are A, D, E, and K, or AD. Phospholipids form the plasma membrane and control the movement of substance across it. And steroids are complex lipids that produce cholesterol and hormones like testosterone and progesterone. Next on the list is protein. Proteins, as you all know, is important for growth and renewal of damaged tissues, required for synthesis of enzymes, antibodies, and certain hormones, and they form structural components like myosin in muscles and collagen in bones. They are also involved controlling the movement of substances across the plasma membrane and involved in synthesizing hemoglobin for oxygen transport. Last but not least, we have nucleic acids, which are complex macromolecules that store genetic information in the form of codes. Each nucleotide, a basic structure of nucleic acid, has a nitrogenous base, a pentose sugar, and phosphate group. An easy way to remember this is that the pentose sugar has a pentagon shape, the nitrogenous base has a shape of basin, and the phosphate sugar has a shape of a circle, like a group of people sitting in a circle. Easy, kan? There are 2 types of nucleic acids: deoxyribonucleic acid, which is DNA, and ribonucleic acid, which is RNA. DNA is basically 2 strands of polynucleotides twisted around each other, formed in a double helix. Most of them can be found in the nucleus of cells and some found in chloroplasts and mitochondria. DNA is genetic material we inherit from our parents, and it also stores information for replication or cell division. RNA, on the other hand, is a messenger of the DNA found in the cytoplasm, ribosome, and nucleus. It copies the genetic code from the DNA and directs it for synthesis of proteins, like enzymes. RNA somehow are also genetic materials for viruses that attack our body. All of these are very basic details of the chemical compounds. As you learn more, you will get to know their structures and how they function.
Hey guys. So for today, our topic is about the importance of water. So did you know that 70% of our body is actually water? 70% to 95% of the mass of cell is water. That is why we can survive even more than 3 days without drinking. It is important to stay hydrated all the time, especially during this pandemic.
Water is polar molecule. Its positive and negative charge are unbalanced. Therefore, it might attract each other as well as dissolve mineral ions and other polar molecules. Yes, Water are covalently bond, but they can also be electrolyzed into hydrogen and hydroxide ions. It's a medium for biochemical reaction, such as synthesis of protein and enzymatic reaction. Secondly, water maintains the body temperature as it distributes heat in the body and eliminates it through urine and sweat, and same goes to plant through transpiration. Moreover, as well, all know water is universal solvent for many biological molecules due to its polarity. Water also provides moisture to respiratory surface to help diffuse the gas before division occurs. Furthermore, water is able to maintain its turbidity and osmotic balance between the blood and the interstitial fluid depending on the concentration of dissolved organic salt. In plant, water maintains its turbidity, its cell sap in the vacuole to provide support for the plants. Water is also a major transport medium as 90% of our blood plasma is mainly water. It carries all the substances such as sugar, amino acid, and waste product across the body. Water is also an excellent lubricant. Mucus and soluble fluid are mainly water and they help assist the movement at the joint. Water provides support to the cell as 90% of our protoplasm is water. Last but not least, water provides high surface tension and cohesion in plant vascular tract. Water molecules have a high cohesion that enables the continuous flow of water up the stem to the leaf through the xylem.
So, you know why you should drink enough water for the day. What are you waiting for? Go grab a drink. Hey, I'm sorry guys. I know all of you is fasting, right? Happy fasting. Bye.
Hello there. Sorry, I was just cooking some carbs. I know most of you avoid carbohydrates, saying they should fat and such, but that's just because you're not using it wisely. Carbohydrates are a great source of energy. Though I can't deny, some people get sick because of too less carbohydrate or too much carbohydrates. That is why it is very important to know your carbs.
Before we dive in deeper into carbohydrates, you should know that it consists of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen is always 2 to 1. Now, carbohydrates are divided into 3 categories. Galactose, fructose, and glucose are monosaccharides or one saccharide. An easy way to remember this is Mana Galaxy Froggy. Maltose, lactose, and sucrose are disaccharides or two saccharides. An easy way to remember this is the Malaysia. Well, because Malaysia is a place. And starch, glycogen, and cellulose are polysaccharides or a long strand of saccharides. An easy way to remember this is poltergeist cloud. Creepy, right? Now that you know the types, let's go through one by one, shall we? Monosaccharides, known as simple sugar, are the monomers of carbohydrates, which means that they are the most basic unit of carbohydrates and cannot be broken down into smaller units. Long-chain monosaccharides form more complex carbohydrates that sometimes combine with proteins such as glycoprotein found in the cell membrane. For monosaccharides, first we have glucose, the most common sugar we see in our everyday lives. It is also the final product of digestion of starch we eat every day. Next on the list, we have fructose, a very natural monosaccharide found in fruits and honey. Lastly, we have galactose, abundantly found in milk. Moving on, we have disaccharides, or better known as double or complex sugar. All disaccharides are two monosaccharides joined together by condensation, where one water molecule is removed from them to create a bond. So sweet! The three disaccharides are a combination of different monosaccharides. Glucose plus glucose, condense and you will get maltose plus water. Remember this using Go Malaysia. Glucose plus fructose, condense and you will get sucrose plus water. Remember this by Grapefruit Sedap. Lastly, glucose plus galactose, condense and you'll get lactose plus water. Remember this by Google All disaccharides can be broken down into monosaccharides by hydrolysis. Now going back to the types of disaccharides, First, we have maltose, a malt sugar made up of two glucose molecules. It is the partial product of digestion and is also an ingredient used in brewing beer. Next, lactose is a milk sugar that is abundantly found in milks of mammals including breast milk. Lastly is sucrose, which is cane sugar. As the name suggests, it is found in sugar canes and sweet fruits. Besides that, carbohydrates travel through phloem in the form of sucrose, and coarse sugar made up from sucrose is used as sweeteners. To end this carbful journey, we have polysaccharides, which can reach up to hundreds or thousands linked monosaccharides, forming long chains. Polysaccharides are insoluble due to their large molecular size. They are not sweet and they do not crystallize compared to monosaccharides and disaccharides. Let's go through the polysaccharides one by one. Starch is the main energy storage in plants and are commonly found in wheat, rice, and potatoes. Cellulose, as mentioned before, makes up the cell wall. And lastly, glycogen is the main reserve of glucose in animals and humans, and is stored in the liver. They are also referred to as animal starch. Polysaccharides can be broken down by adding dilute acids, boiling, and enzymatic reactions. Now you know, there's no excuse to avoid eating carbohydrates.